All right, let me know if the audio's okay, guys. We're going to kick it in a second. Week 48. Can you believe this? If you're ready to get into this, I need you to type ready in the chat. And as always, let me know where you're from. Let me know what you shoot and what you shoot with. All right, guys, we're going to get into this. I don't have a lot of questions racked up, but I found some stuff we can mess around with. So maybe we'll do something stupid today. I don't know. We're always down for something stupid, right? But let me know if everything sounds okay. Everything's okay with you guys. All right, just type ready, where you're from, what you shoot, and what you shoot with. Okay, guys? All right, hang on a second. And you know what? Let's throw a new one in there. Let me know if you're a strobe person, a natural light person. Let me know what's going on. All right. Why is this loose? Okay, let me get rid of this and do one of these. Bingo, bango. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. It is Monday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you had a good Mother's Day, right? Hope you treat your moms right, you know? And there is a lot about to kick off here at Adorama, so we got a lot of stuff to go through. What is going on? Sean, Tim, Edgar, Robin, Rick, what's going on, everybody? So Squeegees is asking, do you have any updates on the Think Tank backpack Fitzer Z9? So actually, I'm having a tough time fitting. The backpack you're talking about is this one. What I'm finding is that this is a pretty rigid backpack, meaning it doesn't have a lot of give or expandability. And so I am personally having a little bit of a problem with the Z9 fitting in this backpack and not feeling it on my back. With that said, though, this is a 31 liter roll top. My Wandered 31 liter roll tops do fit my Z9 when I put it in upside down, which I actually prefer because I can grip it from the bottom grip and I like pulling it out like that anyway. So weird, right? Sometimes it's not just about the spec of the volume of the bag, but also the properties of the bag. Like, does it have some expandability to it, not just the overall volume inside the bag itself? So this is designed, I'm pretty certain, to stay nice and flat against yourself. So that's kind of where I would lean on that. Still a great bag, made incredibly well, but it isn't flexible, I'll say. Yes, everyone say what's up to Quinn. We're always glad that her agency lets us borrow her time, you know. I know. Fresh off the Met Gala, she's still going. She was wearing a $50 million necklace. I don't know if you saw her walk the carpet, but man, my girl looked good, huh? Hand-painted dress, the whole thing. Yeah, man. Wow. Okay, XT5 R62. That's an interesting mix. Okay. Pro photo all the way. Picked up B30s. Okay, B30s are solid. We shoot with the B30s live here. Of course, now I'm getting texted a million times. I'm live. Go to the rules, hit OK, and accept them. It'll open up the... Oops. Sorry, guys. What was I doing? Oh, Edgar. Okay, an update from joining 2 roles. Seth recommended I probably rent a studio with a cyc wall, which is a great idea. So if there is one available in your area, why kill yourself to build a setup when there could be one just sitting there for you? Plus, you're not buying more gear that you might only use once, you know, stuff like that, which a cyc wall, if you need 2 9-foot rolls of paper to make 18 feet, go find a cyc wall, you know, and light it to be gray if you want, you know. You might just want to consider when you go to those studios, the ground. So make sure you either tape the bottom of your shoes, cover the bottom of your shoes, and the people that are going onto the cyc wall itself, just be mindful that you don't want to move them too much if you're doing a massive group thing where you can't hide the cyc wall too much because you're shooting the entire cyc wall. For those who don't know what a cyc wall is, that's that kind of wall it's called a cycloramic, which it's a wall that actually has a sweep built into it. And you've probably seen it all over the place. They're not all created equal, I'll say that. Some are perfect. Some have waves to them because they weren't built right. Some have textures to them because they weren't painted right. But in the end, if you know how to work with a cyc wall, you can make anything work, honestly. Yeah. All right. What do I mean by upside down? So when I pack my Z9, when I have my bag, man, how am I running out of real estate here? When I pack my bag for whatever, a lot of people will put their camera in like this. I put it in like this for the Z9. I find out it fits better, and I also like to grab my Z9 from the vertical grip and pull it out like that. Then I can just hold it like that, put my remotes on it, do whatever I got to do. So when I say upside down, I mean like this. Does that make sense? It fits great. It's been in the Wandered Provoke 31. What's it, like 6 years now? I mean, I've been rocking that bag like that. I don't know. GFX 100S2 is a great camera. Nice, very nice. R5 RD Mark II, 60. I'm sorry, 60 Mark II. All right, we got Canon people, we got Fuji people, we got Nikon people. Oh, hey Heidi, I didn't see you. Welcome. What's going on? Remove shoes even on seamless. You know, I've never been that crazy about it. In fact, you will rarely see me run seamless across a floor because half the time I'm never going to shoot that full length anyway, so save that part of it anyway, you know? So I usually just drop it straight to the floor and I shoot, but what Edgar's doing is shooting an entire dance team. So he's gonna have people in front, in back, completely horizontal, with all a huge amount of people. So he's got to take into account the entire environment for sure. Yeah. All right. Any news on the Pro Photo Remote firmware update? You're still tinkering with it. I haven't had a chance to mess with the cycling feature. I still have that remote with the beta firmware. They have not asked for it back, and I'm not exactly clamoring to give it back to them. You know what I'm saying? I am going to dig into that a little bit when I have more time. As far as it being available to you guys, I don't have a date that it's available, but in my opinion, from my experience talking with Pro Photo, I think it's only a matter of time before it actually is available to you guys to have multi-pop and group cycling in the firmware. It seems they didn't want me to hide it. They didn't want to keep it a secret. They wanted it known out there. So I got to say, I think you guys are going to see it. I just don't know when, you know? And I also know that they're working on the remote to work more seamlessly with their constant lights. So I think more firmware updates are just inevitable, you know? Let me see. Kind of, what's a joke? Did I just miss something here? Oh, the removing of the shoes thing. All right, so let me get through what's going on here at Adorama because there is so much. Let me tell you how exciting this week alone is going to be. Let me show you. Let me show you guys. So, where am I? On Wednesday, a very, very special guest is coming in for Coffee with Creators. 11 o'clock Eastern on the main channel. Boom. The one and only Neil Leifer is going to be here, guys. This is legendary. This is icon status. This is like bucket list guest. Neil Leifer is probably one of the most prolific and most, I would say, important and significant sports photographers of our time. I mean, the most famous shots of Muhammad Ali were from Neil Leifer, okay? So I'm very excited to have him in here. He's going to be hanging out with Joe McNally here, but Joe doesn't want to be a guest, just kind of like hanging out. But that's kind of what's so cool about Adorama also, is that it's not just, you know, guests and marketing and all this, but it's like just community. There's people that come and hang out here and just to stop in, you know? And it's really cool. If you guys are ever in New York, just swing by 42 West 18th Street. You never know who you're going to run into here or be around, or even just chill in the event space, sit next to him. So Neil Leifer, 11 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday on the main channel. This is episode, I think, 93. We've been crushing it with the guests, I got to say. So I'm very excited about that. Thursday, our very own Joe Addison will be going live from right where I'm standing to go over LED versus strobe. This is Joe's second demo, guys. So make sure you are jumping in on chat at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to throw him in here. He's going to be semi-sweaty. Get over here. Get over here right now. Are you busy? This is the guy you're going to be hearing from on Thursday. So I'm going to make him promote his own thing. Yeah, oh boy, nothing. You want to do this? You got to do the whole dance. All right, kid? The whole thing. Hang on. Let me get you a mic. This is Joe Addison, guys. If you don't remember him, that's because he was wearing a mask probably every time you saw him when he came into the store. But he's past that now. You've grown as a person. Oh, of course, this is dying. Oh, I'm never prepared for a guest. Let me see if I got one in here. I got one in here. So Joe's going to be doing, he's kind of focusing more on entry-level type classes. So for all you people that have been asking me and Dan to dial down the high-tech stuff, which I got to say, I think we have a stigma on that. I don't think we actually do, but that's just us. Let me see if this is, no, nothing?
Something, nothing, maybe.
Oh, I know why. There we go. Boom. All right, Joe, what are you doing on Thursday?
All right, this Thursday, I'm teaching a 1 hour long class. We'll see. And I wanted to talk about LED lighting in relationship to strobes, because a lot of people are asking me. Hold on, let me get framed up nicely. There we go. Well, I like this uplighting. That looks good. Good improvements. Thank you, Nanlight. So I wanted to answer the question I get quite frequently. Hey, I'm doing some video work, and I've been using strobes in the past. What video lights do I need to achieve what I've been doing with strobes and have this kind of hybrid workflow that I'm kind of going for? Because again, so many people work in hybrid these days. They work in video, photo, behind the scenes, social media, all happening at once. Because again, that's just the world we live in now. There's stuff happening at all times, vertical and horizontal and everything. So a lot of people need LED lights. A lot of people, well, continuous lights, I guess, but LED in specific, because that's what really we're rocking out with. So I wanted to take students, like hopefully yourselves, and guide them through, hey, I've been using a strobe to get this look. How do I take a continuous light and get something really, really similar? What limitations do I have? What strengths do I have? I really want to show off the full capabilities of continuous lighting, as well as some of the limitations, yes, and kind of give you a kind of a guide in terms of what might make sense for how you might want to go forwards and learn this stuff. Like, I'm going to talk about a bunch of specific lights during the thing. I'm going to talk about a bunch of specific wattages in terms of how powerful they are, and I'm going to show them off in like real time live, in all in order to hopefully kind of guide you as a creator to know what's right for you. Do I need a 1,000-watt light? Do I need a 500-watt light? Do I need a 60-watt light? Kind of guide you through all that process in the realm of using it partially as definitely as a photography kind of thing, but also again using it in the world of video at the same moment.
I promise you, Joe's gonna have a lot more energy.
Just woke up.
He just woke up. No, look, we get this question all the time. No problem. We get this question all the time. Constant lights versus strobe, and Joe is dealing with this all day, every day. Someone comes in here and asks him that question. Now he's gonna do the formal demo for you guys. So all I ask you guys to do, jump in the chat, say what's up, watch it on replay if you can't stay live, drop a like, drop a comment for Joe. This is Joe's second ever demo, all right? This is me and Dan pulling the next guy up, all right? So make sure you are supporting whoever, whatever we can on this channel, and make sure you're ready with your questions, because I know you guys probably have a lot of them, and it can be gear specific. You guys are asking like, this is blah, blah with my Godox light, or is there a menu setting on this? Like, go bring it, okay? That's why we're live, okay? Yeah, he does have a bit of an accent there. Sounds a lot better than Brooklyn Trash Rat, you know? Kind of helps out. But this is going to be a really good demo. I'm pretty psyched. Now, next week, after we get through Joe and all that stuff, bada bing, my guy Jeremy Saffer is coming in for a double header. 11 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, the 20th, we're going to be doing the podcast. But then 5 o'clock, I'm kicking this guy into gear. He is bringing a band in here. He put out an APB to get a band who needs shots to come hang out, and he's going to photograph a band live for you guys. And I'm pretty sure he's not just going to be doing it like live performance style, but like What if you only have 10 minutes backstage to get promo shots for their media kit? He's going to go through that for you as well, okay? I'm putting my guy to work. I don't get him in here often. Well, this is the time. This is where we're going to go for it. He's a Hasselblad and Leica shooter, uses a lot of Nanlite, Profoto, so we'll get into that. Also, he does know a lot of grip knowledge, so make sure you just come with those questions for him as well. Jeremy Saffer is solid as a rock. I'm pretty psyched that we're going to have him in here for a doubleheader. So that's next Wednesday. But this Wednesday is Neil Leifer. Thursday is Joe Addison. And then Wednesday we got Jeremy coming through. And then there's more coming for the rest of the week. Jillian Lenzer is going to be doing a doubleheader as well. Then we've got Ian Spanier in June. I mean, we're stacking it. So I'm going to put this link in the chat for you guys so you can stay up on all the things. Also, we are remodeling the events page. So be on the look for the new look of the events page. Let me pin this. Can I pin that? Cool. I'll pin that. Okay. Yeah, this is, listen, I think Omega Red is one of the most underrated villains in Marvel history. I think they had got to put him into, put him in, you know, put him in the game. You know, he's been benched for too long. I think we're going to see him on the Wolverine video game that's coming out from Insomnia, but we'll see, because that game's been in the works for years now. Cool. Yeah, so Nelson's saying that he helped me get an X100 and directed me to choosing an Evolve 200 Pro 2 for my first strobe. Cool. And what are you shooting with all that? All right. I'd like to see something like a protruded flash tube and glass conversion kit for the B20 and B30. You can get domes for those. You do know that, right? That the glass on the front of the B30 is removable. B30 and B20, that's one of the things that makes it different, is that these metal clips right here, you can push in the glass and pop that glass out. You can put on the Profoto dome. So if you want an extruded bulb, which I totally understand, you can do that. You could not do that with the B10X and the B10X Plus. That's one of the advantages of the newer light, okay? And believe me, I get it. I want domes on everything, especially if you're using things like 6-foot strips, or if you want a different, I'll say a more unified looking light when you use a beauty dish. I'll say that. All right. So, but you can totally use the dome. Actually, let me see. Let me see if we got it. Yeah, this guy right here. This is the dome you guys can totally use, okay? I'll put this in the chat as well. You know what's awful is I had a dome for a long time, and because I switched from the B1s to the B10s, I sold them all. You know? And I wish I kept them. Like an idiot, I sold them all. I had 5 domes that I sold, and I regret it all the time. I don't know. I think I just said to myself, like, I'm probably going to break these if they just sit around, so I might as well just unload them. Like, I don't know what it is. Yeah. Nelson saying A7 III that I bought from Adorama, and for my events I do, and some fashion shoots. So very cool, very cool. I know you can get a dome, but an extended dome with a tube for beauty dish. You're not going to see this monumental difference between a tube and the dome. An external expulsion light is an external expulsion light. When that flash tube hits that dome and explodes sideways, as opposed to being recessed inside the built-in reflector that Profoto does with their design, it like, and you know what? I think people are like basically coming up with these placebo things. You're not going to see this mega difference between the tube being outside and the dome. You're really not. You know, there's a big difference between a Pro head, which is all exposed tube, but these are not designed to be an all exposed tube, guys. This is not what this light is. If you guys don't realize what this design is about, it's basically giving you a built-in reflector, so you could throw this on a stand and you've got yourself a light ready to go. And then you can modify it however you want, obviously. But like to have the built-in reflector for someone that's working really fast, that doesn't want to have modifiers, that wants to save space, stuff like that. But now if you want to have the dome, you totally can do that. You know, as someone that had to use 6-foot strips for the last 20 years, I'm telling you that a dome will fill the same as an external tube. Now, if you're talking about something like a monstrous softbox or something that you really need that all expulsion of light, I get that, but that's what Pro Packs are, okay? And believe me, at first I was like, man, I don't like this built-in reflector Pro Photo does. And then fast forward a year later, I'm like, this is awesome. I don't carry reflectors really anymore. It's pretty awesome. All right. If you're forced to only have one camera, one lens, one strobe, what will you choose? Well, it depends. It depends. What am I going to go try to go shoot? That's a big, may or may not have, oh geez. Okay. Sorry guys. What was I talking about? Oh, depends on the subject, man. If you told me that I'm going to be running and gunning events and stuff like that, I'm not going to go ahead and choose a 2400 watt second pack and head. Probably not. Unless I were to be in a control room and bounce it into the ceiling and fill the whole room up and have like just a soft overtone light on everything. But that's a choice as opposed to having maybe something small on camera close to lens and ripping it paparazzi style, right? So, you know, I get it's like a fun question, but the reality is I choose the tool based on what I'm going to go do. You know, what we do have now, though, is the ability to have such versatile tools at our fingertips. So if you said, oh, I don't know what I'm going to get into, if I had just like a straight up, you know, you throw me something like Z9, R52, A75, something like that, and a 24 to 105 or a 24 to 120, I could get through whatever I'm going to be getting through. But with that said, if someone called me up and said, hey, I need you to shoot some kind of live action stuff in a lower light situation, I'm not pulling an f4 lens, and I'm probably not going to need that 24 millimeter wide angle look at it either. So I would change my choice there as well. So you guys with me? I feel like this chat's dead. We got like no likes going on. This is killing me. No UK visits coming up. Sorry. Don't have anything. If I do go to UK, it's usually because Joe McNally's dragging me along for his amazing workshops, which I'm very grateful for. Joe's awesome. But I'm not on the docket for myself. All right. You guys have any questions you want to get into? Let me know. We can do it. We got plenty of time to get through some stuff. I did find, I don't know if we're going to, I don't even know if this is going to be cool, but I know a lot of you probably have seen this stuff when you order something. This tubular plastic. I don't know. Anything that has a texture to it, that has volume to it, that I can shove light through it or along it, I'm like, maybe I can do something cool with that. So it's not super clear. There's a bit of a frost to it. Also, there's tape all over it. So right off the bat, that tells me maybe not point a lens through it, right? Right, because this is what you get through the lens. Actually, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe not that bad, huh? Could be cool. Or throw it behind subject and rip a colored gel up it maybe. I don't know what this stuff's gonna act like. I've never shot light through this plastic before, but I was like, you know what? This is what a Monday stream is all about. We throw things against the wall and we see what sticks. Sometimes nothing sticks, but we don't care. And then you also got to make a decision. Do you want it to be vertical or do you want it to be horizontal? Which, you know, two different things. You guys with me? Am I live? Or are you guys just quiet? What is going on here? Talk to me, kids. Because there's no point in me being live if there's no chat here. All right. I got a semi-decent sized piece. I've got a smaller piece, and then I think this is a really small piece, actually. And I'm pretty sure this came from packing a monitor, I want to say. But I squirreled it away here in the corner because I was like, you know what? If I get to a Monday stream where we don't have a lot of questions, maybe I can throw this into play and figure something out, you know? And stuff like this is good because you're kind of working. I call it working out, right? Like you're just throwing something up and you're going, let me work on this. Let me see if I can get this to work. And you start making decisions to kind of get yourself to something that just works, right? So if I took a C stand, let me see, take a C stand here. And we grip this and we just see how it acts. Right? Let's see what we can do. All right, I need you guys to vote whether you want to do this vertically. Whoop. Oh my gosh. Do this vertically or horizontally. I'm kind of feeling the vertical, and then we shoot vertical. The reason I'm not really into the horizontal, at least, although watch me change my mind the second we try horizontal, is they're not all the same width, and I think a dense line going across might be a little, I don't know. Let me see. Something like that. And I could just tape this up, but I'm going to use a clamp. And the reason I'm going to go with a clamp over a thing of tape is I can move clamps around easier. So if I don't know what I'm settling into, I'm not going to use tape yet, you know? Then you're really kind of forcing your hand into something when it doesn't come off easily. Maybe it rips the plastic and you lose the bubble effect. I mean, all sorts of stuff here. So, oop. I think we want to keep it as taut as possible, right? Something like that. I don't know. Do we want to shoot through it, or do we want to shoot it as a background and maybe try a gel cascading up it? I don't know, because when we have something that's not a lot of real estate, but we stretch our lens out, right? All of a sudden, it starts getting bigger behind me, right? So if I pump this all the way to 70 and I move this up to here, you know, you start getting a background. So it is going to be a tighter shot, right? Or we could do something where we shoot through it and we see we get through that, you know? You're going to be playing depth of field games. You're going to be playing a lot of different games. And in the end, there is no right answer. It's just like what's working, what's not. Then next thing you know, you go, this really looked cool. Maybe I will try to refine it. Maybe I'll get better plastic. Maybe blah, 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 you know? Diagonal, if I did diagonal, we'd have nothing. If you do diagonal, you're going to end up with spaces that just aren't hitting right. Plus, we haven't even looked at this. We haven't even shot a frame through this yet, you know? So, all right, let's do the first vote is going to be, do we want it in front of subject or behind subject? Let's get a poll going here. In front of subject, behind subject. Ooh, can I do an actual poll? Let's do that. Let's do front or back of subject. And front. I'm gonna use a YouTube feature here. Front or back. This is exciting. I never used these features. Plastic in front or behind subject. Start poll. Hey, are we starting a poll? You guys see the poll? I don't know how to check the poll though. Up front. Oh, front's getting 50%. Back's getting 67%. How do I check the? Oh, I see. All right, so it looks like 60% back. Got out of 10 votes. There's 60 of you in here. None. That's all I'm getting for votes. All right, it looks like 15 votes later, it's almost neck and neck. It looks like we're going towards the back. I'm gonna give you guys, I don't know. What does this do? Never used this before. I'm going to give you guys 10 more seconds to vote. Oh, it's 50-50? 50-50? Are you kidding me? I'm going to give you 10 more seconds, all right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's end this poll. And it looks like, yeah, we can do both for comparison, but you got to start somewhere. And don't forget, it's going to completely change the setup, all right? So right now, you guys are saying front with 52%. Yeah, all right. Let's see what happens. So the first thing we're going to do is get a shot of Quinn without the plastic so we have a control, so we know what we're looking at here, right? Let me drop some gray here just to keep things nice and controlled to some degree, you know? All right. So we're going to take this and we're going to take it, put it to the side for a moment. And we're going to take a picture of Quinn. What's the first shot we're going to do though, guys? We haven't done this in a while. I feel like we haven't shot anything in a while. We're actually going to shoot. How crazy is that? Let me see if I got a battery here. Okay. The first thing we're going to do, what's the first one? Okay. Got my tether tools cable, got my lever lock underneath. We shoot a Nikon Z6 III. That's right, black frame. We want to make sure that we are controlling all the light in our space, okay? Black frame isn't just a black frame. We know this though, right? So I'm going to start off at ISO 100. We are going to do 200th of a second shutter, because that's the fastest I can go before going to high-speed sync. Technically, I could do 250, but I'm not going to play games with it. And we're going to shoot at f8 and see what happens. I think I got way too much light in here today, honestly. But let's see. Do I have a camera hooked up to this or no? Oh, you know what? Let me pull my... I think I have a bunch of stuff on my memory cards that's indexing. Oh, I know what's happening. I pulled the cable. It's not sitting well. Okay, now it's sitting. Okay, let's take a shot with our girl. I can tell you right now, we're probably going to see a little bit of her coming up because I have so much light pumped in here. But this is essentially the black frame we're working with. Of course, a black frame isn't just a black frame. It's showing us how deep our shadows can get. We're looking at about a little under 2 stops of density in those shadows. So I'm actually going to close down a little bit, about 2/3 of a stop, and take a look at what she looks like. Yeah, that's a little better for me, okay? Now keep in mind, we're going to be putting something in front of or behind her, and so our depth of field is going to either obscure or define that plastic, right? If it's a larger depth of field, meaning we're closing down, that background still keeps some of its detail and information, as opposed to being completely blurred out, right? So let's throw a strobe. What do we say? Do we say front? We're going to put it on in front of her? Okay, so let's just throw a strobe in front, raw light, as raw as we can be with a pro photo. We just talked about this. What group is this in? Oh, good, it's an A. Okay. We're going to throw it overhead and symmetrical. Why? Because I don't want to start doing something that's going to have a variable until I want a variable. So a symmetrical light will show me what everything looks like uniform, as opposed to throwing it to one side when we're going to be shooting a plastic that has a texture to it that could cast a texture one way or another. So let's start symmetrical and then work from there. Does that make sense to you guys? So instead of me going, well, it's making shadows to the left or the right, like, no, we're just going to make a symmetrical light happen on our girl here, and then we work from there. This is probably why you guys always see me working with a light in this configuration to start with, because I can always go asymmetrical from here. You guys with me? Talk to me, guys. Come on. We also don't have to do this. If you guys don't want to do this, we don't got to do it. All right, let's turn on this remote, put into TTL, and do a quick bingo bango. Let's take a look. And that is a well-exposed symmetrical light on our girl. For the most part, symmetrical, but that's right out of the bat. So now, here's the decision we make. Do we put the light behind the plastic and light her and shoot through it? Or do we light the plastic and hope that that light gets through the plastic to then light Quinn? Okay, there's a big difference here. So let me show you. If I were to put this plastic right up against her to some degree, and our light is going to hit the plastic in the front, right? The light's going to hit this plastic in the front. That's a big difference than separating off of her, lighting her, and shooting through that plastic. Let's take a look at both of these, okay? So let's take a look. This is, let me change my focus mode because I think I'm going to have a hard time even trying to see. There she is. Okay. Let's take a look. So that's the light lighting the plastic. Okay. Now, if I were to take this plastic and put it in front of the light, right? Almost, you know, a little bit of a sandwich action going on here. Whoop. And I were to push this light more towards Quinn and put this light more towards me. I'm already running into quicksand on this one. And I'm going to push her a little bit back, right? So now we're shooting through the plastic, right? Let me see. Whoop. You know what? I'm actually going to flip this around because I think we're going to be fighting the stand for the light. So let's flip this around and shoot in front of this. Okay. This is going to get frustrating really quick, I can tell. I can totally tell. Okay. So now we're going to shoot through the plastic and the light should be going onto Quinn. But here's the thing. Quinn's going to reflect light too back towards camera and hitting that plastic. All right. So let's take a look. This is, okay. Also, we're making distance of the plastic to make room for this lighting configuration. So you can already see that we've had to make some compromises, right? Because the distance of the plastic changes, we have more space going on. I actually kind of like it where she's being lit and the light's coming back to us. We're getting some very cool things up here, right? Here, not so much. Here, she's just getting kind of lost in it, you know? And you can play a bunch of games here with gels and all that kind of stuff, but in the reality is what you're really playing is where those lines are obscuring her face. So I went right down her nose. If I went over her eye, right, like that, like this is more the game you're going to be playing, right? You can punch in even tighter. Actually, if I give her some space, if I go a little more wide angle, big difference, right? Big difference, right? You know, so when you're shooting the plastic, when you're lighting the plastic, you're going to get plastic coming back at you. But when you're lighting for your subject and light will bounce back off the subject towards the plastic itself, you'll get more out of the subject itself and less of a wall in front of your subject. Does that make sense to you guys? You know? I mean, I was actually thinking, I don't know. The first shot was way better than I expected. I was expecting the light to wash out. Yeah, so the reason it wasn't washed out, if you notice, we're pitched, right? We're not hitting it like this. So if I actually put it up against her like this, and I were to drop this strobe down and I would have put it more like frontal facing, yeah, we're going to get, we're no longer playing angle games here. This is going to basically murk out like crazy probably. Let's take a look. And so that's what you get. In fact, I focused on the plastic and not her, but that's a big difference when you look at even the shape of her, right? Because now it's very flat. If I were to focus on her better, right? Right? Like now we're just throwing light at plastic. Before, I kind of hedged my bets and I angled it. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Why don't you tell me? This is before, when we had the light overhead and cascading a little bit. Here it's just face forward, just bank. And you can see the shape of her face is different, right? There's a massive, massive reflection, specular highlight coming, right? So a lot of it has to do with how you're going to run that light across. So in fact, while I have it all messed up anyway, what if we took it to the side and we ran it across this picket fence of plastic, right? Let's see what happens now. Right? It's so distracting to me. This like crazy highlight going across the top, but we can actually mitigate that if I raise this up a little bit. We should be able to get rid of that highlight bar across the top a little bit, right? So if we're doing this, and there you go, it's more uniform, right? But you're still chucking light into plastic. And so you're always gonna get this, and it's cool, don't get me wrong, like there's a cool to it, but for me, something more like that lets me not get stuck on the foreground, appreciate the foreground, and still get into my subject. And I really do actually appreciate this, like, I don't know, haloing, ghosting, fogging, whatever you'd call it, you know? I think on the left, we were in a better position, you know? Now, if we were to use this as a background, that's a different ball game, right? If we were to take this and we were to throw this behind our girl, it's not enough to just light this way with it, because she's gonna cast a shadow, number one. Number two, it's not in the foreground. It's going to be an afterthought in the background, right? So let's quickly do something like this. Maybe I can manage the shadow. I don't know. Quinn, go this way for me. Thanks, girl. Let's see what happens when we go into this. So as a background, it's just literally like she's against the shower curtain, you know? But what if we made some decisions here that make this a better frame by doing things we know to do? One of the things you should always keep in your mind is zones, right? If I made this plastic its own zone, took it away from her a little bit, and remember, we're using a raw light here, right? Like, so now this light, instead of blasting past her, will hopefully fall off fast enough. In fact, I'm even going to ask Quinn to step up a little bit, and I'm going to move this light a little bit, and I'm going to drop it down a little bit. So what I'm doing here is maximizing my exposure effect on her and minimizing this light exposing on this plastic. Let's see what we get, right? Oh, sorry, guys. Haven't done this in a while. I feel like I'm a little out of it. Let's take a look. Okay, so now that plastic goes darker, right? So what does that allow us to do? Where there is no light, I can put light, right? So that means I can light this plastic separately. One of the things I wanted to try, which I don't know if it's gonna work, it might totally suck. And if it sucks, you guys gotta let me off the mat on this one. I was thinking of throwing a second light in there. I was thinking of throwing it on a shorty, right? Take a nice little short stand here, right? And I was thinking about putting a strip box on it and running light up and through it. see if this transcends light. If it does, I can throw a gel on that. And who knows what's gonna happen from there. You guys with me? You guys into this? Talk to me, baby. Talk to me, baby. Talk to me, baby. All right, I got a 1x, what do I got here? I got a 1x3. Let's do the 1x3. Oh boy. Actually, should I do the 1x3 or a 1x4? I think the 1x4 will be easier to gel. So let me do the 1x4 actually. Yeah, we'll do the 1x4. All right. So yeah, I'm thinking if this works, it's cool. If not, I don't know. I've never worked with this specific plastic before. I don't know what's gonna happen. But that's the point of pulling out your stuff and throwing things against the wall, literally, which is what we're doing right now. All right. So this is the 1x4 by Profoto. Let's start with let's start with the grid. You know why? Because I don't want the light to spill onto the background. I just want it to come up through the plastic. So the more control I have over the spill might be better, you know? What color do you guys want to do for that background light? Talk to me, what color? I'll try to find whatever gels I can, but I don't know. Second light means you can charge more. That is true. Yep, by the way, it's Daniel Norton's birthday today, and you guys should all storm his comments and wish him a happy birthday on whatever videos or social you got him on. All right. We all wouldn't be here without Daniel having built the original event space. I wouldn't be here. You guys wouldn't be in that chat right now. These resources wouldn't exist, you know? So make sure you guys wish Daniel a happy birthday today. Let's pitch this a little better. Yeah, something like that. What color do you guys want to do? Green? Are you guys in like green mode? This is like the 5th time you guys have pulled green out. All right, I'll do green, but I'm gonna do the green I want to do, which is filthy and disgusting and toxic, right? Blue, I'm a little tired of blue, guys. What are you in cool tone land? What are we doing? What is this? Actually, I'm an idiot because I forgot to turn on this light. What group am I in? I am in C. All right, we'll do C. All right. Of course, this is a really obnoxiously long softbox for this space, but what might have to happen, we might have to expand this zone out even more. I think we're gonna get light flashing on the back of Quinn, unfortunately. I do think I'm gonna raise this a little bit. I have the leeway. We have the technology. Let's see. I think we're gonna have to stretch this out, meaning I need more distance off the stand itself. And I'm gonna start pulling out sandbags, kids, because nobody needs to die today, right? Let's get a sandbag on that before I have a problem. Okay, and let me get a sandbag on that backlight before I have a problem. All right. So what you're gonna wanna do is not shoot your key light first. What you wanna do is see what that backlight's doing, period. So before I put a color on it, we're going to, man, I am sweaty. We're going to turn on, oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. Now here's another factor we're gonna deal with. How much can that light cascade before there's an overexposure? Because remember, inverse square. We're gonna be brighter here and die off here, right? So what are we gonna do? I don't know, I've never shot this garbage before. I just found this garbage, so let's find out, right? I'm going to do it in TTL just to see what's going on. We'll see what happens. Let's take a look. You know what? Doesn't look bad neutral. If I take that out of TTL, I put this onto, let's just do a neutral shot. Calm down, relax, we'll be okay. Not bad, guys. That's not bad. However, we have the reflection going across the top. I'm not hating it, but we know how to get rid of it because we just did that, right? So I can raise that light. I can change the angle games here. But this is kind of looking monochromatic and I'm kind of into it. Do you guys really want to put a color in there? I know you do because there's a Monday stream and we do whatever we want on a Monday, right? So let's see if we can make this look a little bit cleaner. Let's see if I can boost this up. If I moved my light, that means I lost power, right? So we're gonna go into that light. I'm gonna give it a half a stop more power. We're gonna take a look. Look at that, reflection's gone on the top, nice and clean and uniform. But because I lifted that light up, we are dragging shadows now. So instead of being clean on our face, we got sundials going on. So what can we do here? That's right, guys. We can throw in a reflector and fix everything in 2 seconds. Clean, clean. And that's a piece of plastic we just found in the garbage, technically under the radiator, but we're not gonna get into that. I think that background light, I'm gonna rip down the power a little bit and get some contrast in there. So let's go into that backlight and take out a stop and a half. Why? Because that's how I feel. Is there a science to that? No. Do I care? Not really. We're shooting Quinn on a Monday. Look at that, more contrast, right? Now, let's say I wanna add a color. I totally can because we're gonna take a gel out like we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes, right? Let me see what I got. Let's see. You want to add, everybody's saying green. Marcus is saying pink. Pink could be cool. And I'll tell you why pink could be cool. Because in the contrast parts where we're losing, why am I talking to that camera? In the contrast points where we're losing the light, it goes darker, dark contrast against like a snappy pink could be very cool. We also don't really use pink too much. Having said that, green is the first gel I found. So guess what we're using, green? I don't care, guys. All right. I'm gonna put this in here super sloppy because you guys don't deserve anything better than a sloppy place gel. You just don't, you just don't. Let's take a look. Oh, I forgot the bounce. Where were you guys on that, huh? We'll do that. Let's take a look. So now we can see that that backlight isn't what's lighting that plastic. It's our key light. If I were to boost up that backlight, right? Here's what we'll get. A little more green. Now here's the problem I'm having with this thing. It's not the way we should do this. We should push her away from that background and create a more of a zone divide, right? We've got some distance that we can grow here. So if I ask Quinn to step forward, she's gonna be like, oh, my agent told me I don't have to move. Well, I told her you have to. I'm also debating throwing a modifier on here that gives us more control. You know why? Because I have it here, and why not? So now instead of it spilling on the background, we can change that beam angle of this light and chill it and make it go right where we want it to go. So now I just lost how much light because I put that box on there, probably about 2 stops. So what I could do is go into TTL and remeter, or you could just go, oh, I'll throw in 2 stops, because right now all we're doing is seeing what it looks like before we really dial it in. Okay, let's take a look. You see how different that gets? I'm getting the rod in there, I know, lay off me, but you see what's going on here? I don't know, Brad, I don't know what's going on, but everything you're sending, the AI YouTube gods are telling me that it's nefarious. So here, let's do this again. Get that rod out of there, give a little bit more power to the front. So now we're getting, I'm not really into this. I think we were better before. I think these were cooler. Not so much here. This I kind of dig. Although we were doing this last week, so we're all over the place, guys. Talk to me. Where do you want to go? I kind of like the plastic in the front, right? Not that plastic in the front, that plastic in the front. And it goes to show you that no matter how many ideas you throw at something, sometimes the first idea might be the best one because that's what you were initially going for. All right, so the word sloppy, yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not really into this. To me, the one on the right is very amateur. There's no sophistication to it. We're not really getting anywhere. On the left, instead of lighting the plastic, what we are using is our own subject as the bounce for the light to transcend light towards camera, as opposed to light falling on subject from camera. When it falls on light from camera, what we end up getting is something like this. Big difference, right? And we're not really changing that much. We're just changing what we're actually lighting here. As opposed to lighting the plastic, we're lighting our subject. Quinn is then reflecting light into the plastic rather than us lighting the plastic. When that happens, we get garbage like in the middle. Garbage in the middle is cool if you're doing a B-rate horror movie for 3 seconds and it's off screen in a little bit. But without that, it's junk. On the left, you could do that for a jewelry ad. You could do that for some sort of product announcement easily. It feels like a shower scene. Yeah, I get it. I get it. She's wearing a tank top though, so we're gonna keep this very PG, all right, guys? Does Quinn have a sister? Stop being a creep. What do you want? So I'm leaning on the left. I think we had it in the beginning, and I think we can refine that further, although we are hitting time here, guys, so I gotta move fast. We're gonna go for it. Do you guys wanna go for it? Talk to me. Left or go all the way right? Which way? I just feel like what we're doing on the right is so amateur. You might as well just throw a gel onto a paper backdrop and be like, yay, there's a color there. Brad, I don't know what's going on, but it's flagging you for everything. Everything. All right. I'll tell you what, because we only got a few minutes, I'm going to throw something against the wall. We're going to go for it. You know what I could do? We could do it front and back if you want, because I got more than one piece of plastic. This is, and if you didn't know, this is the bubble wrap that they wrap inside of a monitor that I found here. So that's it. Everything in this industry started out as DIY material. Everything started out as something out of a garage. Soft boxes were bed sheets and cardboard boxes till somebody started making them legitimately. So do whatever you want to do here, you know? If you see something that could react to light a certain way, then do that, you know? But I think this is as clear as it gets when it comes to throwing light at the foreground or throwing light at your subject through something that can transcend light. So now the one on the right says to me, you have more of an understanding of light and you're focusing more on the detail of your subject, including the shape of her face. Look at her jawline and cheek line compared to over here, right? Where neither one is right or wrong. But when you make these decisions as a creative and you're trying to gain an audience for your style, what resonates more with people that just aren't you alone? Because what we're doing is a communication. Everything in that frame is a word in a sentence, right? Yeah, the left, I'm into the left. Well, the other left, this is now the bad left. I don't know, I'm kind of into it like that. And that was the most simple setup we had, right? Let's actually, let me just check if I got to be somewhere in a minute and if I can go over time a little bit. Hang on. Hang on, guys. If you're new here, make sure you're hitting subscribe. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Can you believe that? We're in the last 5,000 we need. How long does it take you to come down after one of these live demos? I'll tell you right now, the hardest thing about streams is I'm managing the chat, the tech, the multicam, something to shoot with, multiple lights. It's when you stop thinking about multiple things at once that your brain's just kind of like, ah. So when you guys wonder why I'm an insomniac freak and I'm losing my mind all the time, it's because of you. Oh man. I tell you what, let's throw a piece of plastic in the front. I'm gonna hand hold it and we'll see what it looks like, okay? Let's do that. I'm going to, oof, I think I worked myself into a wall here, hang on. Let's do a raw light. Let's do TTL, just get back to normal here really quick. Whatever normal even is anymore. So this is TTL. I don't think I care about this anymore, to tell you the truth. I'm just gonna hold this plastic up in front of the lens and see what it does. If it's cool, then we can grip it and start getting more permanent with it. But I got a feeling I'm not gonna care about this. We're just messing around anyway. You need to teach Dan how to run a switcher. Dan knows how to run a switcher. He plays dumb because he's smart enough to not get stuck in this like I am. Also, it's not easy focusing through this plastic, I gotta tell you, especially on a white face through, like, I mean a painted white face through plastic. It's interesting, but it's basically lens filters, you know? You know? If you want, we can explore this again next time. Do you guys want to do that? Do you want to grow? Do you want to like expand on this, whatever we're doing here next time. But I just really wanted to kind of give you guys the idea of what it's like to light the foreground as opposed to lighting your subject when you're shooting with something translucent. And this goes for windows, plastics, sheeting, whatever, right? I don't know if this like hit for you guys or not, but it's just funny because we started probably here. It's just cool, right? It's very dreamlike. Yeah, I guess a ghostly quality, sure. To me, this looks more not ethereal. I guess because I'm so used to horror, this doesn't feel like ghost to me. This kind of feels more ethereal, maybe a little more dreamlike, you know? I like the idea of using found objects in creative ways. I never would have thought to use the packaging. Yeah, why not? Look, every time I see something that light can go through or do something with, like if it can reflect the light, it can shoot the light through it, it can change the properties of light, you can put it up against your lens. Like, why wouldn't you look at that and go, what could I do with it? The key here is to make decisions that optimize what you're doing and not just kind of chucking light at and going, I guess that's all it is. Because if we did, then all we get is this, right? If all we cared about was just throwing light at something, that's what it could look like. But we made better decisions and we got something like that. That's a big difference, right? Big, big difference. Yeah, I use Ziplocs on my bag when I have to do something that looks like underwatery or I shot a special effects makeup that was supposed to be a fetus in the womb, actually. And so I shot it with a Ziploc bag over the lens, which was pretty cool, actually. Man, that's gotta be 20 years ago now. Nah, maybe what, 2009, maybe? So that's what, like 15 years ago? Yeah. Nah, thanks, Robin. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I hope these streams, I hope, do a little better than they've been doing. I try to make them worthwhile, but you gotta realize, this is the 48th one of these streams. After a while, like, what am I gonna do in this same space with the same things? Like, what am I gonna do, right? So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Please make sure you stick around this week for Coffee with Creators. Neil Leifer's gonna be in the chat. Mean a lot if you guys could just pop in, say what's up, make him feel psyched that he's live with us, you know? I'm going to probably book myself for a live demo again. It's been a while, I know. I think the last one I did was December. You believe that? But I was on the road, so what am I gonna do? Can you throw a link up for the table? This is so this is a very expensive table. This is the Manfrotto tether gear table. It's not for everyone. Tether. Where is it? Oh, actually it came down in price. At least I think it did. This is for the Manfrotto table if you're looking for it. But yeah. Man. All right, so listen. The other options you have for the table are Tether Tools makes a foldable table now. Actually, I have it right here. There's an attachment that I'm waiting for, and then we're going to use it a little more often. I just needed something with, actually, Jeremy Saffer was with me when we were giving them feedback on this thing. So this is a foldable tether table. Like, boom. And then you have these slides that you can put something through them and you screw it down and it holds your laptop down. So maybe you want to check out the Tether Tools Aero table. I'll put that link in the chat too. And Tether Tools is a huge supporter of the event space, so we want to give them some love as well. Tether Tools table. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, so that's this. This is like the whole kit, but you know, you get it however you need it to be, all right? Wish you go crazy with a demo for FX makeup. Those are a lot, man, you know, and they're always gonna be the same demo. Make an alien look like an alien, you So yeah. Well, we don't carry that brand, I don't think. So I don't know what to tell you. But this Manfrotto table's covered in 3/8 female threads, so you can put arms all over it, mount whatever you want to mount to it. It's basically a giant cheese plate. It's thick. I mean, it's a thick piece of metal. I put mouse pad extenders all over it so I could have some more surface area. But this is built. This thing is very, very built. There's a reason it's the price it is, because you're probably never going to need another one, honestly. No, actually, Manfrotto heard we were building the event space, and they were like, hey, take this and whatever other grip you need. So this is all Avenger Manfrotto grip. Everything that's mounted in here is all Avenger and Manfrotto grip as well. They're a huge supporter of the event space, and I can't thank them enough. Yeah. All right, guys, I think we're gonna leave it there. Make sure you are, follow me at all this stuff. I have my own YouTube channel for more things if you want. Make sure you poke around this channel if you're new here. There's a lot of demos from a lot of great people, including myself, Ab Cisse, Lindsay Aller, Joe McNally. We're gonna have another one from Joe Addison pretty soon. Vanessa Joy is on this channel, Jennifer Stitt. I mean, the list is just massive. We've been cranking it out for you guys. We are so close to 100K. I cannot tell you how crazy I'm going to be once we hit 100K, okay? Yeah, so I guess I will see you guys Wednesday for Coffee with Creators, Thursday for Joe Addison. Then next week, I got Jeremy Safran here for Coffee with Creators and shooting a live band. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it there, guys. I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you guys something. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on, guys. If you're in New York, big announcement. If you're in New York, me and Daniel Norton have brought back the image critique. Tuesday, May 26th, 5 p.m. Come hang out if you're in New York, or you can also submit your work and let me and Daniel look it over and talk about it. No live stream. This is in person only. It's like Adult Swim. There was a massive amount of requests for this. Well, you got it. Make sure you're checking this out if you're coming to New York or you are in New York already. I'll put this link in the chat real quick. And yeah. All right. I will see you guys later this week, somehow, some way, somewhere. All right. Be good to each other. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. If you watched this long on playback, make sure you put in, I don't know, what are we feeling? What are we feeling? Kebab, all right? Like shish kebab, kebab, all right? I had a good chicken kebab this week. It was pretty good. So anyway, make sure you put that in the comments, know that you watched this far back, and I will see you guys soon, all right? Later, guys. Peace.